Okay, I'm going to talk about abortion a little bit. So, I live in Ohio, and there's a vote coming up this November, basically between pro-choice and pro-life, right? And the yard signs are popping up, and it's been on my mind lately because of that. And I don't really. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to give you my opinion on things and kind of hopefully you can infuse my opinions into your belief system a little bit. So, you know, I'll just say right now that I'm pro-choice, but I'm pro-choice with an asterisk, right? I don't think that it's good to abort children, right? I don't. It's not something you should be proud of, right? And I think you should take every step you can to avoid having to do it. And in that light, I don't know if I ever had the choice to face whether I was going to get an abortion or not. I don't know what I would do, but I do want to bring up. I want to ask the question rather why we get abortions. Okay, so if you think about what life, the purpose of life is, we reproduce, right? We expand our population, and the end goal is to more or less become a dominant species, or at least live in such a way that we thrive, right? So we have to ask the question again: why are we getting abortions? Do we not want children in the world? Why do we not want to bring these children into the world? Well, again, the obvious answer to that question is the economy, right? People can't afford children. They can't afford to give children a good life. So it is almost like mercy by aborting these children and I don't know, perhaps keeping them away from suffering that would incur given a life lived in poverty, right? So that's kind of the crux of my abortion stance. It's basically that I'm pro-choice because I believe that if the economy is the problem, then we should try to not so much focus on pro-choice versus pro-life, but we should focus on fixing the economy so that when you do so that when you do inevitably get pregnant or get somebody pregnant, you should hopefully want to have that child, and hopefully you should be able to have that child, right? You should be able to take care of that child. It's like when we get so drawn into this pro-choice versus pro-life argument, it distracts us from the economic side of it, right? And that's a really stupid thing to do. Frankly, it's if the focus of your argument is not economic, then I think you're kind of just justifying the killing of children because you perhaps made a bad decision and got someone pregnant. And that's why I say, again, we want to minimize abortions at all costs, right? We don't want to have to abort fetuses, ideally. So the point I'm trying to make here again is we we, we need to focus on the economy, and that's the point I make in a lot of my videos. It seems like everything always comes down to the economy. You have to. I mean, Bill Clinton, despite all his flaws, his campaign slogan was "It's the economy, stupid," right? And it makes sense. Voters vote based on the economy. They vote for who they think is going to best fix the economy, best help their economic conditions. And I imagine, like, if you fix all of the economic conditions, if you fix all of this wealth inequality, you wouldn't even have, there wouldn't even be an abortion discussion. The pro-choice versus pro-life discussion would just disappear. And that is, maybe it's a little idealistic, but why are we, I don't know, devaluing the life of a fetus because we can't afford to support that child. That seems kind of it seems kind of evil in a sense. And it's as evil as the wealth inequality that causes us to want to abort those fetuses. We need to think about it in terms of the economy, and we need to put all of our effort into fixing the economy rather than putting any effort into arguing about this pro-choice versus pro-life debate, right? And there's a lot of religious context that goes into this argument too, and that's just the religious division is just another distraction that distracts from the fact that the economy is the problem of probably every problem we have. It's the source of every problem we have in our society. So I don't want to say I'm a fence sitter on the abortion, because ultimately, I'm pro-choice, and I think we need to remain pro-choice until the economy's fixed. And once that economy does get fixed, once everyone has the ability to care for their children, perhaps we ban abortion. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. The goal is to get rid of the inequalities so that we don't have to abort fetuses, right? You can say that it's just a clump of cells or whatever, but what are you? I mean, you're just a clump of cells as well. I mean, that's all you are. You're just one organized group of cells living in an environment. And even if, like, maybe a baby is not conscious, maybe a fetus isn't conscious, but an infant is hardly conscious, right? Are they conscious? At what point does an infant start to think for itself, start to understand its existence, like, look in a mirror and understand what's happening? I don't know. I mean, there's who knows when that happens. It's like that we draw arbitrary lines here. They're arbitrary, they truly are. And if you're going to use the arbitrary line of when a fetus becomes viable, or versus when it's just a clump of cells, you're kind of arguing from the wrong standpoint. I think, again, the basis of the pro-choice argument should be the economy. You can't justify aborting a child because it's a clump of cells. I feel like, again, that's just kind of a cop out, and again, it's a little bit evil. It's kind of evil in the same way that rising wealth inequality is evil, and it leads to all of these problems we have in society. Abortion is just one of those problems. I mean, I don't know. Just give that a little thought. Just my 2 cents. Thanks for watching.